What happens when someone walks into court facing a second-degree felony, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and still doesn't seem to take it seriously? This case is a perfect storm of bad decisions, questionable behavior, and a judge trying to figure out whether this young defendant is even ready to turn her life around. From possible drug use during the hearing, to unclear life goals, to relying entirely on her boyfriend for support, everything about this situation raises red flags. And yet, despite all of that, the court still has the power to offer her a second chance. The real question is, does she deserve it, or is this just setting her up for an even bigger fall later?
What are your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations? How are you supporting yourself?
My boyfriend.
If you drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you just seen somebody else has been tested. Marijuana, anything else?
No, ma'am.
You're positive for cocaine as well. So how often are you using? You are not, that's either yes or no. Are you and your boyfriend using the same supplier? Where is the boyfriend? Has he already left?
This case goes from bad to really bad in a matter of minutes. This girl is in court for an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge, and she decided it's a good idea to show up to court high, and it's not even subtle either. I mean, this girl literally doesn't blink the entire hearing, and I'm not even exaggerating. You guys will see when you guys watch. And that's not even the weirdest part. I mean, this girl looks like she's 14 years old, but she's actually 19. And like, this whole situation just feels off from the start. Let me know in the comments how old you think this defendant looks, because it is throwing me off. But yeah, guys, let's dive in.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine, affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. There's to be restitution, if any, to Jose Casares, Miguel Rosas, Ashley Almeida. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargaining agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 10 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 250 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Jose Casares, Miguel Rosas, and Ashley Almeida. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 in all attachments.
And we have no objection, Your Honor.
All right, you may be excused. Court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Judge,
Right here is where things get serious, but also surprisingly lenient. The judge finds sufficient evidence of guilt, but instead of convicting her immediately, grants deferred adjudication. That means the court is basically saying, we believe you did it, but we're giving you a chance to prove you can stay out of trouble. But here's the catch, this isn't a small case. This is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, carrying up to 20 years in prison. If she violates probation, that entire sentence is back on the table. And what makes this moment even more shocking? The judge is already noticing signs of drug use and instability. So now the question becomes, is this mercy or a risky gamble by the court?
Judge, if you'll consider it, the state saw fit to recommend supervision.
All right, anything you want to say on behalf? I'm sorry, anything you wish to say? Ms. Sanchez?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. If you drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you've just seen
Marijuana.
somebody else has been tested. Marijuana, anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right, why are you using marijuana?
Just to use it.
All right, so that's going to stop. You understand? Because you're going to be on deferred adjudication here. And marijuana is not legal in Texas and it's not legal while you're on probation. Are you employed?
No, Your Honor.
So how are you supporting yourself?
My boyfriend.
All right, do you have any children?
No.
Where are your parents?
They're outside.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
And when you say they're outside in the hallway?
Mhm.
Do they know what's going on with this case?
I don't know.
So they just showed up and you tell them to wait outside?
They just showed up. I don't have a good relationship with them.
Okay, why not?
We just don't get along.
Why? The reason why I'm asking these questions is because I'm trying to give you conditions of probation. Like if there's something in your past that happened between you and your parents, then maybe you may need help with that to address that issue. But if it's a question of they don't like your boyfriend and you don't want to abide by their rules and they say, well, you can't stay here, then that's something completely different. So what are your issues with them?
My father mistreats me.
Okay. All right, there's going to be proof of employment within 30 days. There should be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. How far did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
So what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
Getting a job.
But I mean, what do you want to do? Like, what are your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations?
Performing arts, like theater.
Okay. So what are you doing to try to get yourself in theater?
I can always go back to school. I have money saved up to attend college whenever I feel like it.
I need your guys' opinion here because I'm definitely not a pro reading if somebody's high or not, but she has not blinked once this entire hearing. And keep in mind, I also cut out all the boring parts too. So if anything, that should tell you something. And like, I know some people have insomnia and like, they just don't blink like this, but I feel like this is just not normal. And like, then she's talking about her dreams and goals for her future, but there's actually no plan behind anything she's saying. Like, it just feels like she's saying what sounds good instead of what's real. And like, we all know Judge Boyd, and I can pretty much tell she is not buying any of this just based on her facial reaction. And honestly, I don't even think that's the biggest issue right now in this case, because she is looking at a max of 10 years behind bars, but I just don't understand why she's coming off this careless. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think about her being high or not, but yep, let's get back into it.
Well, I mean,
This entire exchange about her future is honestly one of the most telling parts of the case. The judge is really trying to guide her towards something meaningful, employment, education, even pursuing theater. But listen closely, there's no structure in her answers. No plan. No urgency. Just vague ideas like, I can go back to school whenever I feel like it. And in court, that matters. Judges aren't just looking at what you say, they're looking at whether you have direction, discipline, and accountability. Combine that with unemployment, drug use, and a serious felony charge, and it paints a risky picture. So let me ask you, if you were the judge, would you trust her with probation or see this as a warning sign of what's coming next?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you don't work towards your hopes and dreams, they're not going to happen. I mean, you may be walking down the street one day and somebody may come up to you and say, wow, that looks like somebody who should be in arts. But usually it doesn't happen. I will tell you, a lot of the older actors from what they call old Hollywood, they would work at a theater and then they ended up becoming actors and actresses. Lauren Bacall worked at a theater as a cigarette girl. They don't have those anymore. All right. 10 years deferred adjudication, affirmative finding of deadly weapon, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, restitution and no contact, and that's restitution if any. If she attends college or goes to some kind of trade school where she's trying to make her dreams come true, then the court will consider waiving those community service hours. So whether you want to just be doing busy work, although community services, you learn something whenever you do it. But if you want to do something to better yourself, then I'm giving you that opportunity. All right, anything else you need from the court?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. This could have went south so quickly, and you could be looking at maybe doing prison time. So you need to think before you act. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Just remain in court, and probation are going to go over conditions with you.
Thank you.
All right, and probation, can we get a drug test on her to see where she is? Yeah, not so much for levels, but just a drug test in general. Yes. Hi. Hi. So one, I didn't notice your clothes. You dressed inappropriately for court. Number two, you're positive for cocaine as well. So how often are you using?
I don't use any other drug besides marijuana in my
So
life.
So who gave you the marijuana?
I bought it from
A
a
friend?
friend of a friend.
All right, well, your friend of a friend, if you're not using cocaine, then they're putting something extra in your marijuana. And that's why I always tell people, when you're using drugs, there's no label on the outside, with inspected by telling you what you're using.
Mhm.
You are not, that's either yes or no. You're not allowed to be using drugs while you're on probation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so are you and your boyfriend using the same supplier?
No,
All right. So have a seat. And where is the boyfriend? Has he already left?
yes.
He's already left? All right. He's probably waiting for her outside because her parents are here. She doesn't have any other ride. All right. Just have a seat.
So just know, if you're in Texas and you commit an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, you might not even get as much time as you think. A lot of cases like we just watched end up with probation, maybe around 10 years, and even if you mess that up, sometimes people still get more chances after they get probation initially. And I'm not saying that's right, but it is just kind of crazy when you say it out loud like that. And what makes it even crazier is when somebody is looking at 10 years, but they get probation, and then when you stack on they were literally high in your courtroom when you sentenced them, and they still get probation. Tell me if that makes sense to you guys, because I don't know, if I was a judge, I'd probably slam her with a couple of years just for that. It's just the audacity and the lack of respect in the courtrooms these days, and it really makes you wonder about the justice system, honestly, after watching this. But yeah, guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, take care.
In the end, this case could have gone very differently. A 19-year-old facing a violent felony charge, showing up to court possibly under the influence, with no job, no clear direction, and unstable support. Yet, she still walks away with 10 years of deferred adjudication instead of prison time. Legally, this is a second chance, but it's a fragile one. Any violation, drug use, missing probation, new charges, and she could be looking at years behind bars instantly. The judge gave her an opportunity, but also made it clear, this is it. Now the bigger question is, will she actually change, or will this be one of those cases where we see her back in court again? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.